Good evening and welcome to Tipping Point. My name is Frederick and we are live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Switch TV Kenya. In the studio tonight, I have James Gakuya, MP, Embakasi North, Fred Okango, Secretary General, Third Way Alliance Party, Dr. Wero Onyino, who is the President, Kenya Medical Association, and finally, I have Albert Maloba, who is the Chairman, University's President Council. Reports reaching our desk indicate that critical COVID-19 cases are now being reported in Nakuru County. Do you think politicians are campaigning too soon? SMS us on 111 444 111. That is 111 444 111. Use the hashtag TippingPoint. My handle on Twitter is at Fred Mutiriri. Welcome. Now, earlier this week, President told politicians that they are to blame for the COVID-19 spike in the country. Let's take a listen.
I really would plead with Kenyans, let us not focus ourselves on when schools will reopen, but how shall these schools open in a manner that protects our children and protects their lives and their health. Tafadhali.
Absolutely. It's been a week. The country has been opened up and schools are about to go back, according to CS Education, that is George Magoha. And this coming Monday, universities will be opening up. And right now, I'll put that question to Albert. Albert, universities are supposed to open up this coming week. Are you ready for it?
Of course, comrades have always been ready to go back to school. And that's why they are comrades, and that's our business to learn. But of course, we are an ambit pandemic, and we have been advised, as you have heard from the speech by the president. He advised that the students should go back to school after they find that it's safe for them to go back to school. Is it safe?
You tell us. Do you think it's safe? Because you are the people who are supposed to. You are the president. You are the chairman of the President Council. Do you feel that you are supposed to go back to school, to universities at this time?
That is true. We feel that you're supposed to go back to school. And in fact, we have looked at other countries. Students have been in school and they have been continuing with their studies. A good example are our neighbors here at the border, Tanzania. The students have been continuing with learning. I think there is supposed to be a big talk on how we should look at how learning in higher education should be. There is supposed to be a big discussion that involves the main stockholders, the students. I believe that it's within a very short notice after even His Excellency gave directions that after they have known that it's safe. And on the following day, we get a very long memo from the Minister of Education that people should go back to school. No student was involved in that consultation. Yeah, so they are just people who sit in the boardrooms and then they decide on what learners should do.
All right, let's take a listen to Dr. Were, who is the President, Kenya Medical Association, and this is what he had to say about reopening institutions.
I can't say with certainty that we have the facilities in our schools. We all know the state which most of our learning institutions are in terms of infrastructure. And I know as we open up the schools, it's actually going to be a challenge in terms of ensuring that there's social distancing in those particular institutions, especially when you go to the lower primary schools. It's very hard for you. It's actually impossible to talk about social distancing amongst the children. So what we need to do is move with speed as we open up. To ensure that we create extra spaces of learning where we can ensure that when the students go back or the pupils go back to their classrooms, then there's some form of social distancing. We need to ensure those schools have proper sanitation or hygiene facilities for hand washing in place, the hand sanitizer, hand washing, proper supply of clean water in place, and further to that, then for the older children and the other staff working in those institutions, then they need to wear masks at all times, especially for our universities and the older students in high schools.
All right, Mheshimiwa, now the president has said we can open up the country. Of course, as a parent, do you feel we are in the right season to open up schools at this particular time?
One, let me say yes. we are in the right time to open the schools. Only what matter is our preparation to open. That's what matter. Because there is no way that we can say forever, we wait, keep waiting, and there is no way that we shall conclude to say, even though the curve is flattening, it will be zero at any single day. It is not possible. And therefore, what we must have in our attention is precaution and preparation methodologies to make sure that we are prepared to fight with it going forward. But we cannot permanently say our children will be at home, because there's another serious danger there outside, which is totally affecting our students. And especially that those unprepared pregnancies, they are over. And we need not to, let me say, when the children are in classroom, they are better than when they are lying outside there, because most of the people
but
here
parents are supposed to teach them.
And parents, let me tell you, are people to hustle, and not everybody will be there to man the children every other time. But when the student is in school, it really can be monitored, because the school, the teachers has responsibility, the tutors has responsibility, and therefore it's better when they are there. What we must do is that we must learn from other affected nations how they have performed in this particular element of open schools. If it is done elsewhere, let us read that case study, and then we take our going forward preparation to open.
This is what the CIS education had to say about opening of schools. They are not testing teachers and students. And this is what he had to say.
It is a big no for mass testing. Okay. We are not going to force teachers to be tested, neither are we going to force students to be tested.
Does that worry you?
It worries me. Last week I was outside the country, and one of the regulations is that you have to test of COVID. Why are they holding on that, and then they cannot hold on testing even teachers and even people who are reopening to schools? And that's why I still continue saying that the Ministry of Education, they are supposed to involve the stockholders in this discussion. We were ready. You remember when I was here last time, I was advocating that we have not had any case from the student leadership. I have not had any case on my desk that there is a student who has been affected, who has been sick out of COVID. If there could be any, then I could have given a report. But again, we were ready to reopen. And hearing from the CAS by his by what he's saying, in one way or another, it's just showing that they are not ready to take care of the learners who are the big dream of tomorrow. And that is so unfortunate. I don't know when he was saying that.
He said this last week, carried that particular interview. This last week, he said that we are not testing, so there's no mass testing, and the teachers wajipange na wanafunzi.
I lack better words to explain that. Yeah, because hearing that from a senior person like a CS, that the government is not able to do that to the people, and yet we have had the issues of COVID millionaires, and I'll always continue to repeat that I request the president of this republic to take those people to book. These are monies that could have bought laptops for students, for all university students in this country. We have asked issues of cautioning students with 5,000 shillings. We are also asking the ministry at least to extend a term of HELB loan. HELB loan is a salary to students. It's a loan that, of course, they will pay in future, but now a loan is something that you can continuously going to take.
Hold that thought. Mr. James, do you think you have heard what the CAS has said? That we are not going to test teachers, we are not going to test students. Are you worried that our children will go back and immediately we are going to go back to a lockdown?
One is that that's a reckless kind of statement. And I would say it is not supposed to have come from such a person, either anybody of that level of decision making, because the CS is part of decision making in a ministry. And it's only that our constitution does not provide for assistant ministers.
True,
or
that's
deputy,
what we are saying.
Or deputy ministers. And this is just by creation, by a presidential kind of appointment. That's how they found themselves there. But telling Kenyans that you are not ready to force teachers and students to be checked, this is telling us that you want us to have a loose situation whereby there will be no any kind of order. And when we lapse to a situation where there will be no order, it tells that there will be no control. And that tells us that this particular song has been always singing on us. That maintain this, do this, it is just heading to a deep ears. Because surely we might find another difficult situation thereafter out of that. So, me, I would say, this country cannot say we don't have money. One, I would like to say, KLI, I salute you. You have made us proud. During this quite terrible, extraordinary time, you have achieved your targets and you have a surplus of 4%. That is a great way. That's telling us that no matter how terrible, we didn't lost in our revenue collection. And this telling us that our budgets are still up to date. You cannot tell me that in a bracket of 7 good months and no single penny of education has been expended, it's only maybe salaries. Otherwise, everything else was zero. And up to now, you cannot tell us out of a budget of 600 billion, because that was a total education budget, that we have not saved enough. That saving should not be taken.
Ridiculous.
It should not be taken elsewhere. That's a saving that we would like to see, making the preparation of reopening learning prudent. But you cannot tell us you are not going to test. How? How? If it is lack of money, Donafad, I was in a budget when the CS Treasury confirmed we have received 320 billion Kenya shillings from donors. And locally,
there is enough money for that.
Locally, there is the reserve money for corporates. Most of our corporations, they have been forced to bring all those reserves to the treasury in tune of 150 billion. This money is there. Otherwise, you guys don't tell us that there is no money.
This is what the president, Kenya Medical Association, had to say about testing. It's very critical for any country that is going through what we are going through right now, the pandemic. And this is what he had to say.
I don't think we lack the capacity to test, because now I can tell you, Frederick, actually in the market we have a testing kit which can give you results within 15 to 30 minutes. And I think it's just a matter of properly allocating resources to ensure that testing is done. I think that would be a mistake if we don't test the teachers, especially in the primary schools, because we need to ensure that these children are going back to learn in a safe environment where there'll be no transmission from the teachers to the pupils, as we saw in South Africa, where they are forced to actually close some of the schools because of that. So I think it will be imperative to have constant surveillance, to have constant testing of these teachers, who in most of the schools, they actually go back to their families and interact with members of the public. So not testing them, then we'll be exposing our children and the other staff risks that are available.
That is Dr. Wera, who is the president of Kenya Medical Association. All right, talk to me on 111 444 111. That is our SMS line. Of course, you can go on Facebook and you can comment. You can go on Twitter. That is at Switch TV Kenya. You can go on my own handle. That is at Fred Mutiriri. We are on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, all these social media places. We are live. And now, Maloba, if we do not test, if you guys are saying you are ready, but there is no testing, are you sure? Because it's the 4th years we've been told to go back to the universities, TTC and TVETs. Are you sure we are not going to close down the institutions in a month's time after reopening?
I think I should emphasize...
What's the decision of the council?
The decision of the council is that we wanted even the universities to reopen a long time ago. But as you have heard from Mheshimiwa, he's saying the government has money. He sits at a higher place than I do. And it's true.
Unless money is diverted elsewhere.
Yes, unless the monies are diverted elsewhere.
Mr. James,
so where we are seated,
but let me tell you, every single penny must be appropriated by Parliament. We have not seen such kind of arrangement. So we still believe the CS Treasury told and to the budget committee that money is safe in
320 billion
and that money
is
in a safe custody.
So you want the money to, you want the 5,000 that you are claiming?
We want that 5,000 shillings. That is what we are demanding. Number two, we are also demanding for extension of, because students have been at home, we want the help money to come out very quickly. It is money that is applied as a loan, and I don't find any reason why Ringera should stay with that money in his pocket. It is not anybody's money. This is our revenues that everybody contributes towards to. And if anything, that money when it comes out is going to support families and people even to start businesses. I remember very well when I was here last time, comrades out here, they are suffering. And I want to say this to Minister Magoha. Maybe you might not be getting it very clearly on all this information that we have tried to give you as to help furnish your office with, that the life of the Kenyan youth, comrade, today is really pathetic.
16 million Kenyans are jobless.
Are jobless.
Youths.
Youth. And we have talked about issues of even internship. Let the government find out a quick way of even putting...
You reminded me the government was to give 1 million internships every year.
Yes. Yeah. And up to now, nothing has been done. There is, okay, there was issue of Kazi Mtaani. We did appreciate even as a council because some even of the youth from the undergraduates were employed. But where is the space of the elites? Yeah, there is that pride that elites also want to feel because they take hard work in what they have invested in. So where is an initiative that can help make comfortable the elites of this country? So the discussion out here is that mbogi ya watu wenye wamesoma na wenye wajasoma wote wanatoshana. Even in somewhere I feel powerless, I should not go back to school.
Do you feel you guys have enough facilities to go back? Because there is that aspect of social distancing, washing of hands. Do you feel that universities are ready for this?
The universities are ready. Up to now, we have checked, and I think specifically even speaking about my university, my university is ready. But looking back at what the government has prioritized, the issues of desk, coronavirus is not here to stay. They have invested over 19 point something billion, I believe, into manufacturing of desks. This desk
1.9 billion.
1.9 billion, yes. These desks are not going to where are they going to stay in schools? Have they built other infrastructures?
Expanded the infrastructure.
The infrastructures where the desks are going to be occupied?
Yes.
No. So after 2 months or 3 months, you will visit one of these schools. You will find that the desks zimeoza pale ndani ya hizo madarasa, somewhere where they've been stocked, and people are going back to normal. And if we have seen other countries have made it out of COVID, then let students go back to school and put priorities that matter to the lives of this of the youth of this republic.
There is an aspect of money that has been stolen. We were told by the Auditor General that over 2 billion has been lost through KEMSA. You are in Parliament. So far, where can you tell us as Kenyans, because you are the representative of Kenyans, where can you tell us what are you doing about it as legislators?
One thing is that, in fact, registrature has mandate and equivalent mandate as the court of any other judicial court, and that mandate is given under every other single committee because they deal with petitions, they deal with questions, they deal with clarifications and everything, and it can be a private member's question, it can be a committee or anything.
Yes.
But in terms of what we have seen from KEMSA,
yes,
it's very important to say that, in fact, the committee which is tasked to that is Health Committee.
Yes.
And I have seen them in various number of sittings questioning those particular aspects.
But we know, James, we know all these reports that we find in Parliament, they never bear any fruit.
Why?
It will be another report. It will be just another report.
But I can tell you that, in fact, nowadays is not those previous days. Currently, we have what we call implementation committee, which does very well, and which pushes most of these motions and bills to be executed.
Yes.
And they fall to the stages of implementation. I would say there we had a team which is working very well. What I would say in the issues to do with KEMSA, one is that it's a very serious brother at the time of COVID. with having an agency, the name KEMSA, and having people with open mind as the management team, plus the political wing, not political wing, the ministry, because ministry cannot be able to bury their head and to say they were not aware what was transpired at KEMSA, and we cannot come here to cheat Wanjiku, because that is very true. Waziri, his peers, that team was very much aware of what the KEMSA was doing. And let me tell you, my big question is, you find a mask was supplied at 700 shillings, a mask where currently you can buy 3 number at 100 bob. So it was an exaggeration of market price times 10. And therefore, my big question is, this is an agency which is supposed to supply other counties with at least a lesser and moderate prices, so that they can stock their hospitals. Who will come from the county and buy at that price of 700 and manage to supply it to the county? It tells you that whatever deal was transpired there is a deal that cannot be sold out of KEMSA, and it will be a dead stock. And therefore, all that money was meant to be stolen from the beginning, because it's commodities which have been procured, but you can't take them anywhere. And at the end of the day, you find the government will make a directive that those staffs be supplied to students
for free.
When it were bought at that kind of magnitude, with the people with a clear understanding that it's money they are stealing, they are spawning, it is very unfortunate.
We are taking a short break. Talk to me on 111, 444, 111. We'll be back. We are talking about politics. When we come back, we are being told there was a coup at Jubilee headquarters today by the Tanga wing of the Jubilee party. We'll be talking about that. Mr. James here belongs to that particular wing. He'll be telling us what transpired this afternoon at the Jubilee headquarters. We take a break. We'll be back with more in a short while. And welcome back to Tipping Point. My name is Frederick. I'm asking you tonight, do you think politicians are campaigning too soon or too early? Do you think politicians are campaigning too early? Talk to me on 111, 444, 111. That is 111, 444, 111. Do you think politicians are campaigning too early? Okay, right now I have Embakasi Member of Parliament, James Gakuya. James, earlier today, this is what happened at Jubilee headquarters. Mythical Inturi had this to say.
Tulikuja hapa na nataka msikie vizuri, na kwanza niwaambie sababu nimeona wengine wenu ama katika mitandao yenu, redio zingine, TV zingine, ya kwamba kuna habari tayari mmeenesha huko ya kusema tumefanya mapinduzi katika chama hapa. There was no coup, there is no coup, na hakuna mapinduzi tumefanya katika chama chetu.
Were you today at Jubilee headquarters?
Of course, yes.
You are there?
Yeah.
I hear that you decided that the Kieleweke part of the Jubilee movement not to get into your meeting today. Those are the reports that we heard.
Nothing like that. I can just express to you and to the viewer that it was just a normal routine to...
Why now? Why now? If it's a normal meeting,
no,
why now?
It is because actually there are issues that actually, which has come out. We have an issue like Moraga's advisory, and we need also to know the position of the party in this particular aspect. And it's important to understand that actually our president is the party leader of Jubilee Party. And therefore, party cannot be just silent without even having a clue of what's happening, so that people can start preparing themselves early.
Chama ni kina nani, Bwana Gakuya? Chama ni nani? Si chama, president kama amesema Msambweni hakutakuwa na by-election, ashasema yeye ndio chama.
And let me tell you, what also we need to understand is how these political parties are formed and formulated. It is important to understand that, in fact, there are parties that actually are just political parties from the beginning as a single party. But this is a party which has been a collection of parties, which a number of parties which were clubbed together and dissolved to at least give this particular formation of Jubilee Party. And it is important to stay and respect the memorandum of understanding that such parties wrote when they came to such kind of arrangement. Because nobody could be able to agree his party to become an absolute if there was no clear
But there is a party leader.
roadmap.
There is a party leader. Who is the president?
There is a party leader. And a party leader also have other organs down there according to the structure of that particular party, which must consult to each other. Because political party is not an individual party. It is not a private entity. It is a political party which is public.
Shouldn't it be that when the party leader has said that we go right, we go right? He's the party leader.
One thing is that, in fact, that can be done during the dictatorship when one particular person would say, this should be that way and that should be that way. But it's not in the current democracy. In the current democracy, consultation is more than better. Because you find that, that's why you find there is a lot of acrimony in most of the countries. Because people does not want to live into agreement. And agreements are the beginnings of corruption or crippling of these political parties. Because if we sit together and we combine effort together to our intended destiny, and when we get the destiny, then you become the king. Now you don't want to anybody else near you, and then you can be able to become a lone ranger and making.
Are you saying the president is a lone ranger?
No, that party currently it is behaving as a private party. That is not the way to manage political parties. And I would say, even at daylight, that this is not the way to go.
But your critics, who are the Kieleweke team, they are saying that you started campaigning way too early. That's what they are saying. Those are the allegations that they are making to the Tangatanga wing of the Jubilee Party.
I would say that, in fact, politics are nowhere in our constitution, and it is not anywhere abolished by our constitution. And let me tell you, the politics cannot stop any serious achiever to achieve his goals. Because it's like saying that cattle will not get water because frogs are making a noise in the water. That then the cow will fear to get water. The cow will just get in, take water and get out. And therefore, no serious government can say that it is politics which is denying their achievement. Even today, we have what we call politics or BBI. Nobody's saying that those are politics. And they are politics, my good friend. So let us not teach each other.
This is what your vice chairman of the Jubilee Party, David Murathe, had to say about the deputy president, who is one of the people that you are supporting. David Murathe.
Kind of felt he's being edged out of government. Now we are refusing with the party, and he's maybe on his way out of the party and possibly out of government.
He's on his way out, and if possibly out of the government.
That, you know,
are you telling us the deputy president, because today there was an assertion that things are not as rosy at the headquarters, is he on his way out?
I would tell you on a very authoritative statement, no. The mechanism to remove deputy president from the government, we need to follow the clear constitutional procedures, which it has been through either Senate or impeachment or becoming a bankrupt. Those are the three things. And let me tell you, he enjoys immune equivalent to the president when they are sitting. That one, none of them doesn't. That's a constitution. And as we speak, I would say Murathe is one of the critics that have fought day, night, left, right, this particular, and I can't tell you where these guys, their battle started. And it is a critical and personal. And therefore, me, I cannot be surprised to hear Mratha talking of this. Because if there is people who are totally against the deputy president.
But the deputy president, seemingly, like you are saying, is a lone ranger. Apart from what you're saying, the president, the deputy president, he seems to be so much alone.
In which
What
area?
happened? What happened on Monday? He did not attend the COVID-19 conference that was called at KICC. What happened? Because the following day you are in a meeting with him.
I would say everybody is a human being. And I would say any other forums for COVID-19, he has never been invited. And you may ask yourself, what is this special at this hour? I would not say if I am the one.
Those other forums were not a conference.
No, listen to me. Me, I'm just putting my shoes into his foot. But
the following day you are together. You are together the following day.
But what I can tell you, I am not going to speak on him or to defend him. But I would say he has his own reasons why he didn't attend. And it was not a crime. Because maybe the notice was short and he has other programs.
This is what ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi had to say about that.
Let us hear it.
Beyond the wheelbarrow, what next? Beyond the water tank, what next? I'm not saying people should not get tools here and there, but it must be beyond that. Ladies and gentlemen, where those wheelbarrows come from, at some stage, the politician who is dishing out will need compensation. Hey, mnanichezea, mimi nilipofanya hivyo, mlikuwa nafikiri nilikuwa natoa wapi?
All right. Do you think politicians are campaigning too early? Do you think politicians are campaigning too early? You have heard. We'll be talking about wheelbarrows in just a minute. But some of the SMSs that are coming in. Show inabamba sana. Kanari kutoka Mbeu. Where is Mbeu in Kenya? Okay. Hon Oyugi Victor from Mombasa, you're saying they are busy campaigning, yet they have not delivered what they promised Kenyans in 2013 and 2017. We have lost trust in them. Na ni kuanza siasa ilhali wanafunzi wako nyumbani wakijihusisha na mambo mabaya. Simon Gadhogo from Nyandarua, thank you. I think it's not the best time for campaigning kwa sababu wameshindwa kuamrisha mambo ya watoto kurudi shule ilhali wameamrisha kufunguliwa kwa vilabo. Yes, it's too early for the campaigns. Agatha from Busia. Magoha from David from Bungoma County, you're saying you're watching. The spread of corona and other vulnerable people, most important is infection prevention and control measures that are needed in all learning institutions. You've heard that people are saying that you guys are campaigning too early. The whole of this week, you have had several events at the DP's current residence. And this started way before even the country was opened up fully and the containment measures were eased. Do you think, like the president said, you are the people to blame if COVID-19 cases spike?
One thing, only where I can condemn politics, it's just to a certain extent. An extent where we have that huge public gatherings, which does not meet that particular threshold of keeping distance. That one, I would say, to me, I would say, we need to.
But the DP, whom you support, has been having those political rallies the last couple of weeks. He has been to Athi River, he was in Kisii, and you can see the gathering and the people who are surrounding him. There are very many, so there is no social distancing.
And I would say, at some point, politics has played a lot during that COVID time. And you remember very well, that is when most of the DP allies were stripped naked from their parliamentary and Senate positions. That was a clear statement to tell you there was a certain serious motive to finish that particular person. And at that point, we found that those meetings and gathering were going on, especially in Western, led by the governor and Eugene Wamarwa, a minister. Then here in Nairobi, Atwori and his group, Kajiando, and things have been going. But you find that it was not, it was a double standard, because when the other team meets, everybody they are being fought by tear gas, and those with their meeting were stopped. And I think out of that anger is when somebody realized that he's just been sidelined so that at least people can take.
So he was sidelined, and so he has demanded to just go into the street when we are in the middle of a pandemic?
I think because others have been doing so, and there were no questions, then one feels that, why not me? Why am I ambushed to that level? So I think if it was to be a neutral way of handling this, we could have been seeing a neutral way of controlling this, and orders could be to everybody. And that way could have given us a neutral field.
But he is the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. He is not like any other politician. He is the Deputy President.
He's the Deputy President. That one I agree with you. But a human being is a human being.
Shouldn't he show the way?
I can tell you, that particular Deputy President for long has kept quiet and has totally kept out of the public. But it's only have reached a time when others also came out. But I think also he felt that, why am I just keeping quiet, and when the other peoples are just making mileage? You know, there was just that time of campaign for BBI. He was not part of that BBI. It was all over. And I can tell you,
but there was no COVID-19 then.
No. Yes, I agree.
You'll agree with me.
Yes, I agree. Now, the only thing that is we are in a situation where we have not really gone to that zero rating of that COVID. I would say, if it is a control, can it be to everybody? If there is a way to deal with it, let us not be dealt with on that way, on that haphazard manner. Let it be controlled to everybody. All
right. Some of the SMSs that are coming in. Papi Chulo, you're saying DP is right for not attending. Okay. Johnny Nyakundi, that is my area MP. He has done a tremendous job in Embakasi North. Anakupa Kongole.
Thank you.
Lemayan Ole Letulo, this is on Facebook. We are live. Tell these politicians to spare us from politics. What we need as Kenyans is a peaceful country, and we are not begging but demand development as it is our right as Kenyans. Ziggy Mukulima, my long time fan, thank you so very much. Mwisinga Itumbu tukondani hadi tamati. Thank you. Let me ask you this particular question that arose when Murade spoke the other day, and he said that all the responsibilities of a deputy president, they've been handed over to the Interior CS, Fred Matiang'i. What do you have to say, because you support the deputy president?
One is that, in fact, the deputy president is enjoying a constitutional office. You can strip every other assignment from his point of view. And because actually he has no designated job. He is supposed to do those jobs that are delegated to him by the president. If the president decides otherwise, the deputy president cannot just walk to resign, because he is in a constitutional office and he was elected as a peer. What do you do is just to do his other business and just enjoy his office, period. Because he has not been given such a designation of job, and he has failed to do. Therefore, you who thinks that actually he's boycotting you, you are the one who is not giving.
What does it mean?
You are not the one who has making him responsible.
What does it mean when the president takes the mandate that was given the deputy president and being given to a cabinet secretary? What does that say to the deputy president?
To me, I would say, if the president has power, and he thought that, in fact, they have come and arrived to a point of division with his deputy. And maybe they have just come to a point where it is irreversible. He could have found any mechanism that actually either they resolve or to fire him. Because having him there, and you are not in terms, it tells you that he must pull on his way, and you are pulling the other direction.
So what are we saying about the Jubilee Party? Is it dead? Because
that division,
terribly today, it was not all rosy.
I can tell you.
Is it dead?
I can tell you for sure. I talk with an authority that as it stands currently, it is a dead party.
My goodness. So
yes, because
shouldn't you, all of you,
nobody is hearing, nobody is hearing to cure. Because that gap has started as a small gap. It have gone. Now it is at the bottom. And when it escalates, it will just fall aside.
So,
and that's where we are heading. Because you are not heading anywhere else. You are heading to find a deputy president come maybe 2021 with his political vehicle, another political party. Yes, that tells you why.
So are you forming a new party?
I am not. That's not the option for now. But it's an option because you cannot be able to, you have no power to deny somebody his right. If it's that actually it's only Jubilee which you can ride with, you would say, if it is the power of the people will ride with you in whichever vehicle that will carry you to the destination. And that's where we are heading.
Jubilee, James is saying, imekufa. Some of the SMSs that are coming in on 111, 444, 111. George Leyan from Baringo. Our DP was doing right by making the hustlers to get what they require. The wheelbarrows. We'll be talking about that in a short moment. Fred, what is wrong with the DP campaigning? Is it illegal? Is it immoral? If not, what's the fuss all about? Muchungu from Imara Daima. Honestly, we do not have leaders. We have dealers. G from Juja. Hii kati ya wheelbarrow na kitendawili, unachukua gani? You tell us now that you are giving out wheelbarrows. Because the other part of the Kieleweke team, and largely the ODM party, is saying that you are not empowering young people because you are in a meeting this particular week where you are giving out carts and wheelbarrows. And they're saying you're not empowering young people. What you're doing is denying them the right to grow their minds. What do you have to say?
One, I would say, for those who are totally against, because let me tell you, politically, one must be very, very clear in his mind. Whether he's out to oppose, just to oppose because he's against an individual, or whether he's opposing with any meaningful facts. In this one, I am telling you, especially in Nairobi, those hawkers who sell bananas and what we call oranges, mananasi, and all this, you require a walking stool, which is either a wheelbarrow or a wagon, which is a cart. These are the two things that those hawkers normally use. When you are empowered with a wheelbarrow with a cost of 3,000, you have saved what you could buy the wheelbarrow, and you'll be able to buy the stock to sell. Let us not forget we are coming, this is post-COVID, when an especially area of SME have been totally affected economically. So anybody who is giving what we call a load to any serious those small hawking SMEs.
But shouldn't you start some other investment products that can benefit the youth, apart from giving them wheelbarrows that you are saying and the cars that you are saying?
These are not only wheelbarrows. I wish you had been there. This is groups, and groups has been asked, give you a priority. And if a group gives a priority of carts, you just give them because that is the industry. If a group gives you a list of wheelbarrow plus other things, if somebody is a car washer, he only lacks a machine. He needs a machine and a tank to be able to accelerate and expedite his sector. I am telling you, these are groups. In my own constituency, we have just heard about 20 and more groups. Those groups, I would say, it's a mileage to them. I am telling you, we are not...
In 5 years, we are going to have so many groups who are just car washing.
No, listen to me. This is why it is not one industry. And you find that those who are for welding, they have been bought machine for welding. Those who need the Juakari kits, they have been bought their kits. It is not a one-sided deal. Kindly, I wish, get the audit of the list of those items. You ata what we call machine ya kusiaga unga. Yes, you find those who are asked for them, they have been bought for them. And let me tell you, other things like what we call the dry cleaning machines and everything. I am telling you, my good friend, I would say, to me, to those who are actually benefited out of this, to them, they know what actually they have been supported on.
Yeah, let me read some of the SMSs that are coming in and then ask you the last question. Are you in support of dissolution of parliament? Just hold still. I read some of the SMSs. Afadhali mwenye ananipatia wheelbarrow kuliko bila. Sylvester from Siaya. DP has officially made Kenya a hustling nation. Why Uhuru did not open the school? That is what you've said. and open bars, which is important to us, you are asking. Ukweli ni kwamba Ruto anajitenga na chama na wache siasa ya mapema, achape kazi kwanza. Ouma from Lamu County, are you in for the dissolution of parliament?
One, that particular prerogative is left to the head of state.
If he says today, bunge enda nyumbani,
I am good to go. Because if you respect that particular advisory, I am sure that is the direction to take. But one, the consequences are only at his desk. Because
what are some of the consequences?
Because one,
he
will set home a full house of Senate and a full house of Parliament or National Assembly. So nobody will come back as a friend. And the best thing he will meet is the same route he took, the same knife, is the same knife he will come to face. That's what it takes us to bank.
Okay.
Number two is that constitutionally, the constitution is very clear that the CS for Treasury can only expend not more than 10% of the budget of that financial year without approval or ratification by the House. So how do you think that the Treasury will be able to manage their money disbursement without Parliament?
All right.
At this point.
Thank you. Ruto is not giving anything. This is just a show off. How many youths in your area has received the wheelbarrows? They're asking you. He just buys 3 wheelbarrows and says he has given the youths something to do with their lives.
Me, I will tell you.
There are so many.
Personally,
yes,
in my constituency, every MCA has gotten 2 groups. And personally, I have gotten my 10 groups.
Okay.
That are 20 number.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so very much.
Yes.
Most appreciated for your time. James Gakuya, who is MP Embakasi North. Thank you, Albert Maloba, who is the chairman, President at Council of Kenya. Fred Okango was supposed to be with us today. Unfortunately, there was a case at their party headquarters, that is at the Third Way Alliance headquarters, and he's telling me he's still at Kilimani Police Station. They're recording a statement. And earlier on, we had Dr. Were, who is the president, Kenya Medical Association. My name is Frederick Witiriri. My director, what are you saying again? He is at Modangari Police Station. Thank you so very much. Okay, asante sana, every single person who watched today. The views expressed here are not the views of the Switch TV, are the views of the individual persons that we invite in this particular studio. Thank you so very much and have yourself a good night. Asante sana for